This is a Rolling with Tate podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tate, and this is episode 9. And my guest is Aaliyah, who is a cyclist, a writer for Velo News, founder and president of Ride Upgrades, kit reviewer, or should I say kit connoisseur. Welcome to my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Tay. Always been a fan from before the podcast days.
Listen, I'm a fan.
It's all love. It's all love.
Yeah, we've known each other for a little bit. I would see you on 9W and just other places. I remember I ran into you where is it? By Lincoln Center, I believe.
Yes.
And you were
and
changing your tire.
And I was struggling. And I was like, I had been there messing with that flat for at least, luckily it was not cold, but I had definitely, my hands were like black. I remember that.
I was like, I know her.
Queen, folks.
Oh man, super dope. I'm really I'm interested in to find out how you got started and what things you have going on. So we could jump right into it. How long have you been cycling and what got you into cycling?
Well, my Strava goes back to 2015, and I know I was riding around for a little bit before that. So, it seems like every time I say it, I say like, it seems like I'm saying 7 or 9 years or somewhere. But I remember riding around in college. I would use my bike to get from my house, which was slightly off campus, to my classes or whatever. Of course, until my bike got stolen. Well, you know how that be. So yeah, I've been riding around for a long time, using it to commute first, obviously. But as far as, I think the reason that I say my years keep staying the same is because the deeper into it you get, I start discounting the early years, and it was like, oh, I just kind of tootled around on a beat up Raleigh that was a falling apart piece of crap that was constantly squeaking or whatever. The headset, there was a headset issue to that bike. I remember that bike. And now these days, I'm my standard to be if we're talking about start riding is in riding for fun to see if I can better myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 7 years ago.
7 years. Longer than me. I started in 2017.
That's not that much longer. It's 5 years. There are children going into first grade talking about, they were just born.
Yeah, you're right. I started on my folding bike.
Then
I transitioned to a road bike. How many bikes do you have?
Oh boy, fully built and in my possession that are actually mine that I own that are not for Ride Upgrades, the program. The Klein, Cannondale CAD 10, Cannondale CAD 12, Trek. Thank you so much, Trek, for the Dumont FLR9. Appreciate it. And Priority, thank you so much, Priority Bikes. Shout out for their single speed belt drive.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's 5.
5?
Yeah. Then I have, pieces and parts. I'm very close to having a specialized hard rock built. I literally have the cable sitting close to me. It needs to be, the shift cable needs to be installed, and I need a wheel set, and then I'm done.
Nice.
So that'll be 6.
Do you build them yourself, or do you take them someplace to get them built?
Hell no. I wish I had those kind of skills. I'm close, but definitely not ready to take on a build from scratch. I let Jason from Seneca, Jason Marshall, who is really a musician and teacher by trade, but has a little side hustle building bikes and putting bikes together, do my bike stuff. He's my first stop usually.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite bike? If so, what is it?
It's the Trek, without a doubt. The Demani FLR9, oh my god, that's the couch. That is you say you're sitting on the couch and you're just kind of absorbed into it and you can't get up. That's the Trek. It's so comfortable. You might as well just lay down. It's hard to go back from that. It's hard to come back from that. I don't think I could get better. Yeah, great bike.
So, I know you mainly do road cycling.
Mm-hmm.
And as of recently, I've been looking at your Instagram, and you've been posting some gravel rides that you've been doing. So what made you want to dabble in that?
It's fun. I like going. Who doesn't like going over stuff? It's a ride without like cars buzzing you. It's
Hmm.
I do get in an adrenaline rush and get that endorphin reward for surviving traffic and being able to sit in traffic in New York. And there is its own attraction to that. Keep you on your toes, and it is physically entertaining and visually interesting, et cetera, et cetera. But like, if you really want, I pursue the like calming, peaceful outside of the city rides, and the most calming,
Mm-hmm.
peaceful ride that you're going to get is probably on a gravel road somewhere where there's no cars buzzing you, or you don't have to look over your shoulder all the time. Blah 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 blah. So like, after the parks, like I used to go up to Harriman all the time. After that, and during COVID, in general before COVID, but like during COVID was like the moment when I was like, oh wow, this is nice because it was closed down. So half the roads up there were closed. So
Hmm.
you had it. It was I was totally spoiled. There were no cars. So after that, and they reopened the parks, I was like, this is terrible. Not terrible, just like you notice, like you just notice it's less fun.
Yeah.
It's not the same as in the city
Yeah.
because they're moving at higher speeds and you can't sitting in is harder, just all of that. So like the fun of riding with traffic in is not in the city is does not exist when you're in those peaceful places because the cars are not at a speed that you can normally sit in. You're just an obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, after that, people invited me to go do gravel stuff. Just that, and like being in Harriman, there's a couple roads up there I'd ride past and be like, "Oh, I wonder where that goes." But it's like a
Mm-hmm.
gravel, rocks. I can see there's rocks and mud and all. I was like, "All right," wrote my little 28. I think I was riding on 28 at the time, or could kind of do that, but not really. And then when I got the Damani, thank you again, Trek. It takes 38s, so it came with think it came with 35s. I think no, it came with 32s. I beat those up, put a bunch of cuts in them because they were tubeless, and then when it got 38s and was able to go over stuff, and then I just kind of get like want to go over more and more stuff. Like how much can this take?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I do like gravel. I feel like there's a purpose to both. I love both. Gravel cycling is old as time, right?
Yeah.
But there's no gravel near my house. I live in Brooklyn. If I want to go ride and park, I mean, I guess there are gravel paths in Prospect Park, so not crapping on Prospect, but it is not the same as like going around Mohawk or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Some of the ladies from Black Girls Do Bike were talking about gravel and doing that. So maybe I'll give that a try.
Yeah,
Um,
you gonna go do Unbound? I hear they're doing Unbound.
I am not. Not-
Okay.
yes, some of them are, not me. But maybe next year. I'll
Okay.
try. I'll definitely give it a try because I want to go some places as well. And I look at these like trails and paths, and I'm like, well, my bike ain't going. It's not gonna make it. So,
What are you
uh,
riding on these days?
I am. I have a Live a Veil 3 um with some gator skin tires. Basically, the standard. I haven't really made any upgrades to my road bike.
Okay. What kind of size tires does it take? What's the max
Uh,
tire clearance?
uh I don't know.
You
I
got
went
that
to the
find out.
yeah, I gotta find out because I did go to the store and I was talking to this guy. He was like, "Yeah, you really can't take." Damn, I can't remember. I'm gonna find out. I'll let you know. But
Okay.
maybe I can put some bigger. I don't know. Maybe I can put some bigger tires on this.
There you go. Boom. Bang.
There we go. There we go. Problem solved right
I
there.
mean, exactly. I remember watching this video of this group. Oh my gosh, it's not gonna come to me. Let's get it VC. Let's something VC. They're like, but they're like youngish British cats, and I assume that they are not going to be upset by like grinding their Pinarellos through like mud and dirt and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they were definitely riding like 25s and 28s on gravel, so it can be done. It's
Oh,
not like impossible; it's just uncomfortable.
yeah. All right. Well, listen. I'm gonna look into it. There we go.
All right.
What do you enjoy most about cycling?
The freedom
Mm-hmm.
and the control. Like obviously, maybe that sounds a bit dark. Obviously, when I found it out. So like you can go you can go wherever you want. You're not tied to anything. You're not waiting on the train. You're not trying to search for parking.
Yep.
And it's an instant reward. You put in what you put in, you're gonna get out immediately. If you can put in this many watts, you're gonna go this many feet. That's it. That's how math, based on the incline that you're on and your weight. But like, it's an instant reward.
Mm-hmm.
If you want instant gratification, cycling can give that to you. You just have to train a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. And basically, everyone who I interview and ask that question to, whether it's cycling or it's skating or if it's traveling, they all say this basically same thing: freedom.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Besides cycling, what other activities are you into?
Physical activities are just doing things, just hobbies.
Both.
I used to like video games as far as like casual hobbies that I just like to do when I have free time. I used to like video games, but the time that I would normally spend doing that is now spent on bike stuff. I used to write for fun and occasionally try to publish fiction. That obviously got absorbed into like if I'm sitting down at the computer, I'm probably doing work. Things that I do for fun that are not biking, cooking. I like to cook secretly. I do not like to wash dishes though, so that is a bit of a problem. Yeah, if I had to choose a fun thing that would be just like something that I would do that was not bikes, it would be probably gaming or writing.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I never really got into game. Like I had game systems. I had Nintendo 64.
Oh,
Yeah. Right? That's as far as it went. Nintendo 64. My friends would come up, we would play, and then that was it. We'll be outside, like, Tay, you want to go upstairs? I'm like, no, I'm playing out. Damn, you don't have a system?
that's
But it
cool.
was fun though. And but see, they had other systems. They didn't have Nintendo 64.
Gotcha.
So, I was the woman around town, like, oh, Tay, you had to,
Oh, I
like,
know how that is. Like whoever gets the PlayStation, somebody's gonna show up at their house.
exactly.
Yeah, my last one was PS4. It's dusty. It's just collecting dust. So I don't even like use it for like getting on the TV. Now that the TV is smart, it just sits there. I mean, I'm sure I will use it in like the next, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years when like the next big game comes out. I'm sure I will like Grand Theft Auto. Now I just play the big things because I can't not. You know what I mean? But like I probably wouldn't finish it. I'll have it just to have it at that point. You look at it for a second and be like, all right, I'm going to go ride my bike now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Switching gears a little bit, can you explain what Ride Upgrades is and what made you want to start this program?
Okay, what Ride Upgrades is? Ride Upgrades is a very small nonprofit that I started with very supportive friends that it focuses on, I don't want to say rehabilitating road bike image, but like making road cycling in particular more accessible to youth in the city. So we're able to provide a road bike scholarship and through partnership with Trek, so thank you Trek, and a free summer camp. That is, as far as I know, the only free road cycling program in the city. So why did I start it? I started it because I was working with another nonprofit that was also a road cycling program that was school-based. And when COVID kicked in and they closed the schools, I realized that all the promises that I made these kids were not going to happen, basically, because everything was closed. So I started this. I knew that I could like at least get people bikes. That was one of the things that I hated about the program, that they weren't able to like even do like a one bike giveaway every year, even though the program was too large to really give bikes to every single kid. I disagree with that maybe now that I've seen a little bit more, but like long story short, we weren't giving like, a couple hundred kids a road bike at once, but we could have at least done one. And that was how it started. I was like, I knew I can at the very least swing like that first year that we kicked off, I knew that at the very least I could swing the scholarship, like even if I hadn't had sponsors. But luckily Trek very, very gratefully came through. We found an awesome young person. He then went on to like work at bike shops. He didn't become like a hardcore racer, and I kind of actually respected that. I was like, look, everybody doesn't want to race, but he definitely is integral to the community. I feel like we need to keep that going. If we want to see the kind of change, we want to see the kind of change that involves people, advocating for bike lanes and supporting the racers that come out to do the thing and getting more kids on bikes and getting kids who normally wouldn't ride bikes for fun into cycling, then that is the way, I think.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. It's really cool that you started that program.
I am.
Like, I don't really see, just seeing, I don't see many young people riding road bikes. I do see them riding other bikes like the BMX style bikes and doing tricks in the street,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really see too many younger people in my neighborhood riding road bikes. Shucks, I don't see anybody.
We're getting there. I think it's baby steps, and I think what we learned at the camp this year was that we do need the educational support of
Yeah.
people who are actually our educators
Mm-hmm.
and used to working with younger kids to run the programs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's the one thing. Like Travis was 22 or 23 when he won the scholarship. So like for as far as the scholarship goes, I think that's about the right age. We want them over 18. You can no longer get pre-entry into CRC races and things like that. Once you're not a
Okay.
junior, everything gets more expensive. If you
Yep.
want to support like the kid who's not going to the NYU or whatever that already has a cycle team, then that's that niche that's filling that window where normally kids who or young people who are just kind of getting their start and paying for apartments and feeling out the fact that they got to pay off college loans or whatever else, still going through school, they're not going to be the ones to get into cycling if we don't encourage.
Yeah.
Although long term, I would love to. Well, tomorrow, I guess we have another meeting trying to talk about getting another program started in schools. That's like key. Like if we can get high school programs, middle school, and high school bike programs, it's huge.
So, yeah.
Long-term goal, and then hopefully you'll see more of the ride out kids.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you another story time. So I used to work at a school in Gravesend, Leaders for short. Oh my gosh, it had a long name, but it was Leaders for short at the Lafayette High School building. And I was taking a ride back from the Belt Parkway path with like a bunch of high school kids. And like we passed some of the BMX kids and they were like, "Oh, is this a ride out?" I'm like, "Bro, it is absolutely not. But we were welcome to ride with us. You are welcome to but please stay in a line." See, that's the thing. Like, I can't take people's kids out and be like, "All right, pop a wheelie. Now cut off that car." Like, no. Just hold this line right here and stay out of the wind because we were about to go fast. Please, thank you.
Oh man. Oh yeah. Those guys.
I mean, I think kids should have granted the opportunity, having more than one bike is not a bad thing.
Yeah, of course.
Like different bikes do different things. And I think it's important like to point out, well, those are cheaper, less expensive. Some of them are pricey and do shift and all that, but like there's a rule, a BMX bike probably not gonna be a really fancy BMX bike might not be as expensive as a really fancy road bike.
Yeah.
That's the theory there. So and besides the fact that it's just not hot in the streets, it's not what's accessible. People think it's dangerous, blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, one of those things that I think if you train them in the skills and show them where people could go with it, then sky's the limit.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely is. Yeah. How did you begin writing for VeloNews?
Actually, through Major Taylor. So shout outs to Derica Hendon. Thank you, President, for that hookup.
Yeah.
We was working with Fred, specifically Dreyer, who was the editor-in-chief at the time, to get some Black voices heard. So they ran a special series where they were interviewing, or like not interviewing, but collecting and showcasing pieces from different members of Major Taylor Iron Riders, which is a club here in Brooklyn. And I was, first or second, third, something like that, person to put my piece up. And I think I was the only person who didn't write about myself. Like, y'all really be, dude, okay. I mean, people care. You want to inspire people. Representation does matter. But I felt like I had something else to say. And based on, I guess, how well that did, they were, and I'd already written for I was an English major, so I've already written online for money. That's how I made my living for a while. So I knew that it was like, how do we get something that people actually pay attention to? This
Mm-hmm.
kind of series that we were doing. Say something controversial, but it's obviously true. And then I did. And then they were like, do you want a job? And I was like, yes. That's how I'm
Nice.
looking for Velo News. I was like, because I'd already been kind of like, I had my own weird little mission that I did not write about, obviously, for Velo News. I was already kind of like fixated on the fact that cycling kit is super expensive. And then like, cycling kit's super expensive. Almost features no black people when you're like looking around for it. And it definitely didn't have like drop tail bibs when I first started writing. You had to really hunt for those. And there was like only a few companies that did it. So yeah. Um, I was like kind of like, I don't want to say fixated, but definitely that was like my key point of like being like, if I can get some sort of like my voice heard, it's gonna be to encourage companies everywhere to realize that women like to have bibs that come off in the back. Like, why are you making us suffer? So yes, and cycling kit in general, just kind of being like, oh, this is crazy expensive. Why is it crazy expensive? I've gotten to know more of why that is. Obviously, as I've gotten into the industry a little more, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was probably why they were like, all right, you've had some publications in your past, you understand how to pitch. That's I think how I ended up with Bellamy's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of kits, what advice would you give to a new road cyclist or anyone just shopping for kits?
New road cyclists and anyone are two different things, but for new person, if they have unlimited funds, I mean, that's really what it is. Like, how much money? What's your budget? Like all of it. Talk about the new people. Just if you're new, just ride your bike.
Mm-hmm.
Just ride your bike and make sure you don't get chafing.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the big thing, right? Like, like if you chafe, is going to make it more difficult to ride.
Mm-hmm.
So try and make sure that your kit fits the stuff that's close to your skin is relatively tight and then you don't have any seams right in your crotch. That's probably the biggest thing. Oh, and don't wear your underwear under your padded stuff.
Mm-hmm.
These are the
Mm-hmm.
new people conversations you have to have about kits, in particular for new cyclists. Also keep your bike clean. I think we went over how my hands were black. Yeah, don't do that. Because it's premature wear on your parts, all that sort of stuff. Is that kind of along the lines for people who have been riding for a minute and just want to hear? I mean, like, if you've been riding for a minute, you've already formulated your own opinions on things. So I don't feel like I tell anybody anything once they've been at it for a while. But like for today, I will, you know what? I take that back. I've been riding for a while. I forgot to tape up the holes in my shoes. I was watching a friend, shout out to Shane, cop and former cop, current cyclist from like, I think he's in Nyack these days. Anyway, he did a video about taping up the shoes holes because it is cold out now.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
like, oh, I forgot to do mine. My feet haven't been cold, so I never really was like, oh my God, I gotta do this. But like now I was like, you know what? Let me not wait until my feet are freezing to then realize I have to tape up the holes in the front of my road cycling shoes. So little things like that. Tape the holes shut. You can do that. What else? What else? What else? Things that other old school cyclists don't know. Murphy's oil soap gets out grease. So if you want to wear white socks, you can. You want to wear
Oh.
stuff that might get, yeah, Murphy's oil soap will get, and a little bit of heat will get, hot water rather. Not like it's broiling hot, but like not submerge the thing. But if you're concerned that the Murphy's oil soap isn't going to get out like an old stain, there's a little bit of warm water and some Murphy's, and boom, you're good.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
That's a big one. People were like, oh, I had to throw them out. They got grease and I couldn't get out. I was like, well, did you try Murphy's? Throwing stuff out now. Calm down.
Listen, I ain't throwing nothing now. I'm still wearing socks.
It might just be like it's the chain ring tattoo. That's what they call it.
Yes.
But as I was saying before, for the new people, if you keep it relatively clean,
Yeah.
I mean, it'll still be a little dirty, but you can almost never completely avoid that. Like, I feel like that's a wax chain. The wax chain people can probably have something to say about, and no chain ring tattoo. But I've never waxed my chains. I just use lube, and yeah, for that reason, I keep it relatively clean. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with that mark if you touch your chain ring.
Yeah. I've got that mark a few times.
Well, same here.
Any cycling goals for 2022?
Oh yeah, plenty. I got to do that Rasputitsa like a crazy person. I don't know why I agreed to that, but I must be out of my damn mind. So I guess I'm doing that. Rasputitsa is a ride in Vermont. It's a gravel ride, and that's in
Mm.
end of April. So I got like a couple months, get my life together, do a little bit of training, and it is April in Vermont. So what that means is mud, probably mud and cold temperatures, variable temperatures. Apparently, there's some section in there they call it Siberia with the sea, and they just like it's almost unrideable every year. It's just
Oh
unrideable.
no.
I'm like people walking for at least a little mile. Wow, I had to beg some connection to get some shoes because I was like, I don't have shoes for this. Anyway, so that's goal number one. Goal number two is to expand the camp program a little bit. So we're trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure out if we're going to do 3 weeks, like having an extra week at another location, or like financially, I don't think we're going to double it this year because the other option was to do 2 camp locations. I think we need one more year of just kind of like slow growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I've encouraging the kids, the young people that I have worked with through the sponsorship, finally connected them all, and hopefully I don't want to put them on blast, but hopefully we're gonna see them in Bear Mountain Classic this year.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, so that's coming up in May. I'm skipping around here, but chronologically, we have Rasputica, we have Bear Mountain Classic, we have Women's Woodstock Grand Prix. Hopefully, I can do that, but I'm not. I'm not seeing a lot of notifications from the guy who runs it yet, but I'm pretty sure he's
Mm-hmm.
going to have it again. That's a 3-day women's cycling race up in Woodstock. So
Oh,
that's
nice.
awesome. Yeah. That's also in May. June, I'm going to try and usually I try and do a little something because I know that I'm locked down pretty much for July. So June,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully I can go climb something somewhere. I'm going to try and get in a couple new climbs every year. If I can, hopefully I can get out to LA, but let's see. Um, and what else? We got May, we got June. July, June. No, Juneteenth. Juneteenth is Harlem Crit. And for
Oh
Harlem
yeah.
Crit,
Yeah.
for Harlem Crit, and it falls on exactly on Juneteenth this year. So that's a big deal. Definitely working with Rich Cox, who is the organizer of the event, to do revamp the kids program or kids Let's Ride, I think, with USAC. So let's see how that goes. Either way, we're just going to make sure the kids get a chance to get on some bikes and have some fun. Maybe teach them a few skills in the morning. So that's going to be awesome. I think that the Harlem Crit this year is going to be big, and that's going to probably
Mm-hmm.
take up a lot of my energy. I'm going to start promoting for that like now-ish.
Yeah.
Then we got camp. Camp will be upon me fast, like after Juneteenth. Boom, done. Camp's usually like the first week after July 4th.
Mm-hmm.
The school ends at the end of June. And then after that, don't nobody talk to me. I don't want to hear from nobody. Well, after that, I want to do the hill climb. There's a Mount Washington hill climb. It's the only time that Mount Washington road is open to cyclists.
Hmm.
So I'm going to see if I can get in. That doesn't open for a few months, I think, or at least a month. The registration isn't open yet.
Yeah.
But it's like one day. And yeah, that would be awesome. And I just did look and found out that's a week after Vermont Overland. Said I wasn't going to do Vermont Overland again, but it's a week. There's a week in between there, so if I could arrange it in such a way that I like go do Vermont Overland and then just stay there and then like drive from there to Mount Washington, that would be ideal. Let's see if I can work that out. And yeah, after that, I'll be like, let's see how many more mountains I can get in before it gets too cold and I'm broke.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's enough. That's enough for a year, I think.
That is.
I will be doing the Rhodes Scholarship again. The sponsorship is still open, all that stuff. So keep it going.
Yeah, that's dope. Well, I know you're going to accomplish all those goals
Yep.
that you have set.
Yes, indeed.
And maybe I'll come up to the Woodstock. If they do have it, maybe I'll come up there. I do have family that doesn't live too far from there, so maybe I'll come up there and support.
Yeah, awesome. I'll remind the women, Black Girls Do Bike, that race is coming.
Yeah.
Apparently, we're doing Unbound. We just out there now. We out there.
right.
Ooh, God bless them.
Do you have any last words?
Go ride your bike.
There you go. Where can people find out more about Ride Upgrades, as well as keep up to date with all the stuff that you got going on?
Rideupgrades.org. That is it. And I do want to make sure this ride up like a gradient, not ride upgrades. Even though we ride upgrades be pretty sweet, you ride upgrades. Don't buy upgrades. You ride up gradients. Get it? Ba-dum-bum-bum. There's another guy who has like an actual like rideupgrades.com. That is not us. That's like a random dude who's had that site for forever because the quote is old. So God bless that dude. He'd be interesting sometimes. He'd still be posting every once in a while. I pop on his website and like read it. Rideupgrades.org. That's where you can find out more stuff about what's going on with the website. They definitely are. We're on Instagram as Don't Buy Upgrades. Like I said, don't buy upgrades, ride upgrades. I have my Instagram, Kid Addiction. Who knows if I'll change that title because the addiction is wearing off. I think, again, addiction is part of, that is not a positive thing, right? Like trying to buying more stuff. I have enough stuff. You know what I mean? So now I might have to be like a kid critic, kind of like the column on Velo News, because I just like, now I'm starting to get super critical because I'm running out of space. And like, you run out of not even just space, just like the time to wear the stuff. Like if you're in a team, you're not going to have an option to wear whatever you want. You're wearing what the team is wearing. So there's no point in me having all the stuff. Most of the rides I'm going on are with the team, and this is not sponsorship items. So yeah, got jump through my mind now. But I digress. Don't buy upgrades on Instagram. Kid Addiction on Instagram. Rideupgrades.org on any internet, whatever. What else? I'm on Facebook too, but not a lot. I'll be seeing you out there and on the road, of course.
Yeah. Last question. If you could, you might know this or maybe guesstimate, how many kids do you have?
Oh, man. At this point, I don't know. I don't know. A lot. It's matching. See, the matching ones I could try and count out, but it would be like, it's starting to get stupid. It's starting to get like, I want to see like 40 or 50 somewhere in there. Can't be that many. Too many. Too many. Enough for me to like start putting them in bins now and like having to clean out the closet a little bit because it's starting to get silly. I'm just saying, like, too many. And that is a good question. I think people are gonna ask me this repeatedly and have asked me this repeatedly. So I will count. And I did count like last year. So that's not helpful anymore. But now I gotta count again. But a lot.
All right. Cool. Well, I want to thank you again for being a guest on my podcast. And like I said, good luck with all your goals for 2022. I'll be out there. You'll see me around. I'll be out there.
Are we outside?
I'll be outside.
All right, like I can't wait to see it. I'm interested. Hopefully, you can start teaching me how to like roller skate. I can do it, but I can't, do it. So I'm gonna follow along enthusiastically.
All right, that's what's up. This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.
Want more Rolling with Tay podcast? Well, follow on Instagram and Twitter at Rolling with Tay. Visit the blog rollingwithtay.wordpress.com for more content and be sure to sign up for the monthly newsletter. And lastly, subscribe to the YouTube channel Rolling with Tay.